Um, my name is Pietro Bartolini. I am part of the data curation team from ICARDA, and that is working on all the data set that are stored on our institutional repository and curating them to according to a standard that we define in one of our publication, the data curation guidelines. And today we want to discuss about the relation between the different phases of data management, and we want to do this starting on based on our experience from a land restoration project in East Africa and the Sahel. A little background from this project. The project was a project carried on by ICRAF, and the project started in 2015 and ended in last March. And the project cover several countries, Ethiopia, Kenya, Mali, and Niger, and it focused on land management technologies and to restore agricultural productivity. And it adopted a participatory approach with the local population. And so the project discussed with the local stakeholders which technologies are available, and then these technologies are tested by locals and then selected for upscaling and future use. These technologies can vary. There are pasture regeneration, agroforestry, and one of the main activity is related to tree planting inside basins for water harvesting. As I said, they adopted this participatory approach, and one of the activity of the project was to conduct an extensive survey in the area, covering thousands of households. And this survey was conducted using Open Data Kit survey mounted on mobile phones and tablets. And the final result of this survey was a series of data sets, one for each country, that are divided in a socioeconomical part that collect mainly socioeconomical data from the household, and another one that focus on the agricultural practices inside the farm and inside some specific plots about plant comparison that are used for the testing of these land restoration technologies. The data collection activities was conducted by the ICRAF team almost independently by us, but last year in May we presented our work in data curation at the annual team meeting in Nairobi, and we provide a general introduction about our protocol for data curation, and we analyze the structure of the existing data sets. We suggest improvement, and we developed a plan with the local team to complete the curation of all the data sets in the following months. By our analysis, the data sets has a very similar structure, and the data itself are quite clean and without many error. But since not all the data collector have the same expertise with the Open Data Kit, sometimes there are some error that we need to address. So we start working with the ICRAF team, and on the data set we clean all the error, and we standardize the type of codes that were utilized during the survey. And another important factor was to anonymize all the data sets, since the original version still contain a lot of personal information from the household. So at the end of the process, for each data set, we provide a complete data dictionary. Our data dictionary is composed by 3 elements: a general introduction that provide context about the research and the project, an element description table where we describe all the variables and also the codes that may be utilized inside the data set. And finally, a unique identifier table where we provide the link to online thesaurus for specific concept or similar things. We at the end of the project, we have a series of high quality data sets that we share on the institutional repository on Dataverse. And at the end of the entire process, we can say that the collaboration with the ICRAF team was very helpful and allowed to complete the curation in an easier and faster way. But at the same time, it highlighted that if we were involved since the beginning partially in the data collection and in defining which kind of structure the data set should have, probably the process would have been more easier. So after this phase, we discuss about data sharing, and we decided that the best way to share these data sets that are already publicly available on the repository, but we want to improve the spreading, increasing the spreading of the knowledge of this data set. So we decide to write a data paper about this data, and in order to increase the traffic to the data set, and possibly to establish a future collaboration with other institutions that may be interested in this data set. So to write this data paper, we organized a write shop that was planned for March this year, and unfortunately, then the global pandemic happened, and we all go in lockdown. So we have to change our plan, and so we decided that the write shop will be conducted entirely online, and we changed our agenda because it was not no more feasible in the new situation, and we decided to adopt a mix of synchronous online meeting and asynchronous collaboration. During the synchronous online meeting, these are highly focused highly focused meeting where we discuss the structure of this data paper, and we share feedback on any any issue we may encounter. And then in the asynchronous part, each team can work by itself and made some changes to the content of the data paper. At the end of the ride shop, I think that the new structure proved to be highly productive, more than I expected. And in fact, we start planning to write one data paper, but at the end of a week of this online write shop, we have drafted two data paper and one journal article that are now under final review in order to be submitted. Um, so in general, our conclusion about our experience that we would like to share with all of you are this one. So in general, we think that dealing with each phase of the data management by itself, it's highly unproductive. It generates an incredible loss of time, and sometimes it's very difficult to interact with other teams um, uh, during a long period of time. So our idea for the future is to establish a clear protocol with our partner that allow to consider the entire process, data collection, data curation, and data sharing as a single one, so we can organize our work and our time in the best possible way, and we can plan from the beginning how many data sets are we going to produce, to curate, and how many related product we can expect in the near future. Obviously, the key for all this activity is a good commitment by each component by each team involved in the process. Because if for example, we often work on old data sets that are already present in our repository, but maybe are not perfectly curated, and we face difficulties because in many cases the scientist is not really committed to curate a data set that is not immediately relevant to his research today. And so we struggle to complete this process, but and a way in which we hope to overcome this issue is exactly the data papers, because we think that using the data paper as a bait to the other scientists is if they know that they can produce a new product starting from even an old data set, probably they are more interested in cooperate with us. And finally, this is an obvious one, but I think it's important to remind, is that obviously setting a clear deadlines is extremely important, because yes, as I said, that our write shop online was extremely productive, and it was, but unfortunately, I hope I hope that by now we have finalized the submission for this product. Unfortunately, we are still reviewing the final draft. So because in the first days of the lockdown, everybody has a lot of free time, and everybody was excited to work on that. Then in the following weeks, the situation was changes, and so now we everybody has other things in their mind. I hope that our experience can be interesting for you, and maybe for your future activities in data management and data curation. So I have finished. So thank you for your attention, and